We are now live. I'm so excited. Um, the topic tonight is a very challenging topic, I think. It's not only a challenging topic to talk about, but it's a challenging topic to think about because I know I'm not alone in my struggles of gaining and losing weight, especially in the past. Um, And I still struggle a little bit, but I seem to have more of a handle on how this whole trigger thing works. Um, and so I'm just going to go ahead and go. So do you gain the same 15, 20, 30 pounds or even 50 pounds over and over again? You know, you gain it, you lose it. Maybe you start with 20 pounds to lose or more than that. I've seen people who start with 100 pounds to lose. They lost 50, which is huge, 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 huge. And then just for some reason stop cold in their tracks. Or maybe you had 20 pounds to lose, you lost 10 and you stopped and you lost momentum. Something was preventing you from moving forward. I totally get it. I've been there. In fact, it's how I started my journey. I started off, I'd go 6 weeks strong and I'd stop. And then I'd go 6 weeks strong and then stop. And then I'd start and I'd stop and I'd start and I'd stop. And it was probably about the 8th time I got to the point where I'm like, I've got to stop stopping. Like I have to see this thing through the end. I'd convinced myself and actually really questioned my ability to actually lose the weight and finish it. Like I just didn't think I was capable of it. And that's a very disheartening place to be. So about the 8th time of starting and stopping, I decided that I would see this thing through to the end. And I'm so glad I did. And it was probably one of the hardest, most enlightening journeys of my life. As many people know, I started off doing the Bill Phillips and the Bill Phillips Transformation and Body for Life / Eating for Life program. The transformation program was 18 weeks. The Eating for Life, Body for Life was 12. So it was an extra 6 weeks. And that seemed to be what I really needed to see it through to the end. So I started and stopped and started and stopped and started and stopped. And the last time I just thought, I'm not stopping again. I'm not doing this again. I'm going to see this thing through the end, no matter how hard it is. And I found that enlisting the help of accountability partners and a community was crucial. So, maybe this is where you're at. You've started and stopped and started and stopped, or maybe you've started and you've finished and then you gained back all the weight plus 5 pounds or 10 pounds or whatever it is. And you just find yourself so disappointed in yourself and sad that you weren't able to keep the weight off. And unfortunately, I think it happens for a lot of people. It's very easy to become discouraged. And it wasn't until I pushed through those invisible barriers of resistance that I realized what actually was preventing me from having success. And some of these things I still struggle with. And I really have to sit down and have a meeting with myself and say, Sarah, enough of this nonsense. So some of the things that were stopping me, and maybe these are things that'll speak to you. Maybe it's just 1 or 2. And I only made a list of about 10 items because it can become very overwhelming. So I was completely terrified of being skinny. I was terrified of being skinny. I was terrified of changing and how it would affect my relationship with me and others. At the time, my husband at the time, I was terrified that he would see me differently. I was terrified of what people would think and say, whether it was positive or negative. I think it scared me more, the thought of people being positive about me and around me, because it meant they were actually seeing me. And I didn't want to be seen, because if I was seen, that would mean I'd have to talk to people. And I never really considered myself much of a shy person or a reserved person until a couple of years ago. And I took a class, and some of the things they brought up, I'm like, shoot, I am a very, very shy person. And I think it's hard to see for a lot of people, especially, considering as most people know me from the gym, and I am not shy in the gym. Sometimes I tend to be a little bit too loud, right? So that was something I was terrified of. I was terrified of people noticing me, of what people would think and say, because I didn't want the attention. I didn't want the attention. It scared me. I didn't want to be attractive. I didn't want to be attractive to me. I didn't want to be attractive to other people. Because again, when you're attractive, people want to talk to you. They want to know about you. Beauty attracts people. And that's, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. It just kind of is what it is. People are drawn to beauty. And I didn't want to be attractive. I didn't want to know what healthy looked and felt like. I didn't want to know. I just didn't. I was afraid of going to the bathroom all the time because of all the water I was drinking and of all the fibrous foods I was consuming. I know this is a really funny one, but I remember sitting down with my coach at one point in time being like, I don't want to go to the bathroom all the time. Like, I don't want to be on the toilet every 30 minutes or every hour or every 2 hours or whatever it was. It was annoying, and it kind of, it cramped my style. And so that was kind of one of those things that I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to. Why? I hated what exercise felt like, which is kind of funny considering is now I have Fit Body, and that's what we do. Is I exercise for a living, but I hated what exercise felt like. I hated to sweat. I hated to be hot. I hated to feel my heart rate accelerate. I was pretty convinced my brain told me I was dying every time I exercised. I didn't want to buy new clothes. I just didn't want to buy new clothes. I liked the clothes that I had. They were big, they were baggy, and I could hide in them. Buying new clothes meant that I would be putting myself out there, that I would be buying clothes that fit, that I wouldn't have a muffin top, that I would want to, that I would just look good and feel confident. So I didn't want to buy new clothes. I didn't want to feel confident. I didn't remember a time where I had felt anything but depressed. And the thought of being positive and having a positive outlook and a positive attitude was overwhelming. It was overwhelming. I mean, I'm just being honest right now. And I was terrified to also continue, to endure this journey of becoming healthy, because I believed that I deserved to be overweight and unhappy. At that point in time, I had made a lot of difficult decisions, to say the least. And I had convinced myself that I was a bad person. I wasn't a bad person. I just made some hard choices. And I'd convinced myself that that's what I deserved because of the choices I made, was to be unhappy and to be overweight and to be sick. And that's not reality. And it took a long time for me to rewrite that script for myself. And this is a really, really tough one for me to do, because it involves me being very vulnerable. And that's tough. Nobody likes to be vulnerable. I like to say I'm emotionally constipated. I feel nothing, but it's not true. So these were the beliefs that sent me and kept me on the roller coaster of weight loss and being fat and being overweight and being unhappy. And when I say fat, I don't think of fat as a state of being. as a size, as a health condition. I think of it as a state of mind. I mean, all these things that I just listed off, you can just hear how unhealthy I was mentally, emotionally, spiritually. It's just broken down. So please don't take offense when I use that word. I know it's very easy to. All of these things I was facing that would hold me back and stop me in my tracks. We're all based in fear and insecurity. And that is hard to face, that fear and insecurity. Oh. And when I force myself to have the hard conversations and acknowledge my fears and face them head on, then and only then did I stick to the plan. Did I see the program through to the very end? And then and only then did I experience the true life-altering change. And for me, my breaking point was at 6 weeks. I would do really well for 6 weeks, and then I would sabotage. And it was for everything that I just listed. But I was I was fearful, and I was afraid, and I was insecure, and that was really tough. So how do you tackle these fears and insecurities? Jessica, I'm going to go ahead and mute you, babe, okay? So how do you tackle these fears, insecurities, whatever you want to call them? I think first you have to start off by noticing them, by acknowledging that these are your real struggles. These are your real triggers. These are the things that are stopping you from having the life you want, the life you deserve. And even if you don't think you deserve it, it's what you want. So therefore, it's what you deserve. You know, you want happiness, you want health, you deserve that. Simply because it's a desire that the good Lord has put on your heart. So noticing these struggles and these triggers, you got to write them down. First place to start is to write them down. That acknowledgement is huge. Just acknowledging it. Like, this sister's got a problem and I need to fix it. Talking to a trusted mentor or friend. Have those vulnerable conversations. It is so hard to have those vulnerable conversations, because when you're having those vulnerable conversations, you're also admitting to yourself that you got a problem and you don't want to stay stuck where you are. You know, and make sure that these conversations are had with people who you can ask for support and know that you will get it without judgment, because that judgment that we get from well-meaning individuals who love us very much, maybe family. Family is the biggest judges of all. God bless them. But knowing and going to someone and saying, I need to tell you something, and I really need you to not judge me. I just need your support and understanding, you know, an ear to lean on. And it can be a spouse, it could be a friend, it could be a mentor, it could be a close family member, it could be a coach. I mean, anyone, just having someone you can lean on to have these hard, vulnerable conversations with, because really all those are is you acknowledging. You know, I don't even know that it's so much having someone listen, unless you want to hear that you're not crazy. I struggle with that too, you know. But I think more often than not, we just need to be heard, you know. Create a plan to continue to move forward and face these fears, because ultimately that's all your triggers are. It's fears. Fears of being seen, fears of people knowing your name, fears of people finding you attractive, fears of those who have loved you for years no longer loving you. I mean, these are real fears, and it's important to acknowledge them, but not let them control you. And it's very easy to let these things control you, because if you've lost the same 10, 15, 20, 30, 50 pounds over and over and over again, these fears, these insecurities, they are controlling you. Do you know what they are? If you do, write them down. Have a hard conversation. See a counselor if you need to. I mean, I am a huge proponent for therapy, for counseling, for EMDR, whatever that looks like for you. It's crucial to have a plan for your mental health and to have that support. So you're not crazy if you seek therapy. If that's a safe place for you, then go. And just have that plan created. Dig your heels in. This is one thing that when my husband and I got married, I actually proposed to him. How's that? Okay. I proposed to my husband and I told him, Mitchell Keith, I am digging my heels in and I am not taking no for an answer. And he knows that when this sister digs her heels in, she is not budging. And so we got married 4 days later. It was fantastic. And it's been almost 2 years of awesome. So dig in your heels, or whatever that looks like to you, like in your mind, where you put that shield of armor up, you are immovable. We got to dig deep. You got to dig deep, ladies. It's so, so important. And you see, we fear things that have not come to pass in most cases. Fear is not necessarily rational. Fear just is. It's typically based off the unknown. Sometimes fear is based off what you have known, moving forward into the unknown, expecting what you have known. Wow, that's confusing, right? So fear is not rational. And when you acknowledge that, it makes life that much easier, especially when you acknowledge it when the fears show up. My stepmom, she once told me, and it's something that she tells me quite frequently, actually. And she tells me, Sarah, the devil is a liar. The devil is a liar. He is made to seek, steal, kill, and destroy. Are you going to let the devil continue to plant lies in your brain? That destroy your spirit, that destroy your body, that destroy your mind? Are you going to continue to tell yourself those lies and allow them to be okay? And just being honest with yourself. I mean, bottom line, that's what this all boils down to. How honest with you are you with you? It's really easy to lie to ourselves and pretend that nothing's wrong. Because when we actually acknowledge that something's wrong, or that we're not putting our best foot forward, when we don't acknowledge that to ourselves, we don't have to acknowledge that to anyone else, right? So most importantly, be honest with yourself through this process. It's okay to have lots of tears. And this is difficult, but it's crucial to your continued success. It's crucial to your continued health. And I can tell you, we all have triggers. I still have triggers. I have triggers that I didn't even know were triggers. And sometimes they pop up new every day. Sometimes those triggers are related to weight loss and health. Sometimes they're related to relationships. Sometimes those triggers are related to your parenting. And that sort. I mean, I can tell you I have triggers in every aspect of my life that I'm constantly addressing and just being like, holy cow, this is a problem. And I think when you recognize the problem, only then can you change it. But so often does our subconscious kind of protect that. Journaling what these triggers are, what your struggles are, even what your victories are. Just write it down. There's so much power to putting pen to paper. Meditate and pray. Pray, and meditate. If needed, seek counseling. Like I said, there is nothing wrong with seeking counseling. This sister has done hours and hours and hours on the counselor's couch. So there's no shame in that. And keep pushing forward, because you are beautiful and you are worth it. And on the days you don't believe that, you still tell yourself that. I am beautiful and I am worth the goals that I set for myself. And keep dreaming. You got to keep dreaming. You got to keep the dream alive, because there's so much more that you're meant for. Being unhappy and unhealthy and not feeling comfortable in your own skin is not what you were designed for. So keep dreaming, keep moving forward. What questions do you guys have for me? I know I whizzed through that so fast. I was like, hey, I've got like an hour of content here. I don't. It's 20 minutes. So what questions do you guys have? Jessica, if you want to unmute yourself for any questions you might have, you just double tap the screen. And Karen, if you have any questions, you can go ahead and type them in the box. I didn't see any extra questions on the accountability page. So whatever questions you guys might have, feel free to post those. I'll give it a few, I'll give it about a minute. And if nothing posts up, then we will call it a night and just have a short webinar. And I'm okay with that too. I hope you guys have gotten some value out of this, or maybe gotten some hope. And if you didn't get the whole webinar, you are bullying yourself. Oh my gosh, recently, Karen, you were recently given feedback from a trusted friend. She told you you were bullying yourself. But in a perspective, made me angry. Negative self-talk. I refuse to be my own bully. Wow, that would make anyone mad. That would make anyone mad. I don't blame you for being upset, but dude, what a good friend for calling you out like that. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So let me ask, do you have some positive affirmations that you have written up since then, Karen? Just to cut that negative self-talk. And no matter who you are, no matter how together you've got it, negative self-talk is very real for everyone. For everyone. I have not met a person who is alive and breathing who doesn't put themselves down pretty consistently. But it's stopping that negative self-talk and turning it around, like right now, yesterday. And I think when you're stuck so deep in the negative self-talk, it's very, very, very easy to stay there. It's hard to turn it around because you don't see any positivity. What's good about you, right? So make sure that you are writing down at least 5 positive affirmations a day. Yeah, Karen, isn't that tough? Oh, what a good friend, though, to tell you that. So make sure you definitely write down those positive affirmations, at least 5 a day. Write them out where you see them all the time. Put them on a sticky note. I remember, okay, so back in the day, I used to sell Mary Kay. I was pretty good at it too. At least that's what I told myself. And so I sold Mary Kay. And one of the things that I love about the multi-level marketing is kind of this personal development that goes into it. They really, really push the positivity and positive affirmations to like get you to your goal. And I remember I would write them on sticky notes and I would put them on my steering wheel and I would put them like by my air conditioner in my car, put them on the fridge. I had them like all around where my face would go on my mirror in my bathroom. And then I put them up on like my goal board by my bed. I still have stuff like that on my goal board by my bed. And it's amazing. It actually works. It actually works. So get you some sticky notes. Look at it every day. Repeat it every day. Jessica's smiling at me. She's like, whatever, Sarah. Awesome, Karen. Good. Exactly. You wouldn't talk to anyone else that way. Why are you talking to yourself that way? And let's be honest. If someone talked to us the way we often find ourselves talking to ourselves and about ourselves, we would axe them out of our lives. We'd be like, I'm done with you, man. You're horrible. Who says that? That's horrible. And the funny thing is that is how we are treating ourselves. Ew. Only you can change that conversation though, but you have to be intentional about it. And I found that sticky notes, having that big, bold reminder everywhere is crucial. I have them even on my computer right now. It's so funny. I like open it up and it's like highlighter, green, yellow, pink. It's so ridiculous, but I do. So it's pretty awesome to have that. And just, I think, acknowledging those triggers and being gentle on yourself when you are triggered, or when a fear does arise. I mean, you got to be gentle with yourself. Just like if you want to have a successful relationship with anyone, you got to be gentle. If you want to have a successful relationship with yourself that's not totally destructive all the time, you got to be gentle with yourself. You got to grant yourself a little grace. It's tough, but it's doable. It's doable. And sometimes we need those gentle reminders to do that. Um, Karen, you rock. I love you, girl. Jessica, do you have anything for me, girl? No? Okay. Awesome. Well, sweet. I am so glad you ladies got on here tonight. If you missed the first part of the webinar, I'll go ahead and post the replay so you can watch that if you want. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you guys, hearing from you. And as always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns between now and the next webinar, feel free to post them on the Facebook accountability page. Jessica, did I add you to that? I'll do that. Okay. I thought I did, but apparently I didn't. So post them on the Facebook accountability page, message me, whatever it is. And I hope you guys got something awesome out of this. So I love you. I appreciate you. And I believe in every single one of you. Have a great night.